Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to the library to find out why giant snails and snakes were there. And we have another dog looking for its forever home in Dog of the Week. And my guest is Grimsby erotic romantic author Holly J Gill, who's here to talk about her latest. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Emma Lingard. But first, here's Dan Kemp with the news headlines.
Hello there. The new leader of North East Lincolnshire Council has said he doesn't want to become preoccupied with the region going into devolved powers from Westminster. It comes following Hull City Council Stephen Brady's comments in the Hull Daily Mail, where he stated his frustration at lack of progression on working with the south bank of the Humber. Instead, their aim now appears to be a Yorkshire link-up featuring cities like Leeds and Sheffield. North East Lincolnshire Council leader Ray Oxby said in a statement, "We have a strong working relationship with all our neighbours, which is bringing greater prosperity to part of the world. And that's where the focus should be before we become too preoccupied with any particular model." Former Home Secretary David Blunkett has become appointed as the new chairman of one of the largest education trusts in the country. The board of the David Ross Education Trust, which includes a number of academies in Lincolnshire, elected Mr Blunkett to the post, and their sponsor Mike Ross has said they're very fortunate to have secured the involvement of such an inspirational and important figure. Mobile phones are the big risk to drivers in our region. That's according to Humberside Fire and Rescue Road Safety Team. It comes as the service take part in the national campaign, Road Safety Week, to highlight the danger posed to drivers when distracted. Tom Smallwood is part of the team that's taken one of the force's most advanced bit of technology, the iCar, on the road. He explains all.
iCar Experience, it's a crash simulator, and it demonstrates a road traffic collision at 5 at a time. They sit in the vehicle and they watch a DVD screen, and it runs through how distractions and egging on the driver may result in a crash.
The Young Seafood Chef of the Year competition returns to Grimsby on Friday. The competition sees teams from schools and colleges battle it out to create the best seafood dishes before having them judged by Michelin star seafood chefs.
It's a one-of-a-kind competition, and it's so important, you know. It gets the foot in the door of a lot of top restaurants, you know. It's an extra thing for the CV, and it's one of those things that does raise eyebrows, you know, in industry when you get young chefs that have not only completed, you know, the certificate that they've been at college for, but they're actually walking away from that with a whole bank of other things that they've been involved in, whether it's competitions and all sorts of other enrichment.
That's all for me for now. If you have any news for us, then please don't hesitate to get in touch by calling 01472 31553, emailing news@estuary.tv, or by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter. And that's all for now.
Thank you, Dan. Now, erotic romantic fiction for women has always been there, from the ancient times to the Victorian period, but probably came to the fore with that book in 2012, and you know which one I'm talking about. It's a growing market, and one Grimsby mother has also been cashing in on this trend, but is now branching out into contemporary romantic writing. With me in the studio is Holly J Gill. Holly, welcome to the show. Now, before we talk about your latest novel, how did you actually get into writing?
I've been writing since I was a little girl, and then when I turned to teenager I was doing sweet romances, and then it was when I was 19 that I realised that I enjoyed writing erotic genre and since then I've been writing it ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the erotic because it has had such an appeal, hasn't it? Because I think some people think, oh, women don't read books like that, but they do, don't they?
They do, absolutely, they do.
So why the erotic genre for you? Why did you pick that initially?
I think it's because I love the passion, the intimacy, you know, the two couples getting together and making love, if you like.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and it was that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
You know, being a young mum, a young bride myself and things, it was just at the right time. Right place, if you like, when things sparkled.
Yeah, exactly. And you've gone from the erotic genre now into a more contemporary romantic feel. So why that shift then?
I think it was the fact that I wanted a new challenge. You know, I've written quite a few erotic books over the present years, and I felt like I wanted wanted something that was a bit more challenging, a bit different for me, something that would make me think a little bit more harder out the box, if you like, not literally. But, So you know, that's you know, I've also touched on paranormal as well and action.
Okay.
But my sweet contemporary is where I'm at the moment, and I'm enjoying that. And plus, I love the fact that it opens up a bit more traffic for myself.
Right, yes. Because at the end of the day, you're all the time thinking about who's reading these books, aren't you? And writing for them. I mean, what type of feedback do you get from people?
Quite a lot. I do get quite a lot of emails, you know. Obviously, I get off Facebook mails and do me general mail and anywhere really. I often find like mails, oh my gosh, I loved your work, you know, when's the next one coming out?
Brilliant,
and you know, it's an incentive to keep me going and enjoying what I enjoy doing in my spare time.
Now, we were talking earlier, you said to me 52 novels, not all of them are published.
No, they're all drafts, yeah.
But when did you actually secure, I mean, we've got some books here which we're going to look at afterwards, but when did you actually get yourself a publisher?
I got myself a publisher after many, many years of trying the publishing industry, which was very difficult, I will say. But I finally got my break with Secret Cravings Publishing Company, who are based in Toronto, Canada.
Right.
A couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like when you got, you thinking, yes, when you got
I
that?
cried. I could not believe after nearly 18 years of trying, I'd finally got it. And I was just my husband, he thought something had gone wrong because I was just crying. I was like, oh, it was like a wet whistle.
But that's such a big breakthrough, because we meet so many authors that struggle to get a publisher.
Absolutely.
That for you to have done that is
a
huge achievement, isn't it? So your writing style, I mean, obviously we've already said these two books are so different.
Yeah, they could be more different if they
tried. How do you write? Where does it come from?
Do you know, I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, Desires was the initial one that started the whole 52 novels. And I think that's why I particularly chose that particular series to start my writing career. And then as I've just gone along, I've carried on writing erotica, and then all of a sudden, Innocence suddenly came to me. This time last year, I just started writing that book.
Brilliant.
And I love the whole spectrum of writing something different.
Okay.
But the inspiration for Innocence actually came from a location that I used in the previous novel.
Right.
And I wanted to continue that.
We're going to talk more about the Innocence series and obviously the Desire series a bit later on. But first of all, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, there's another dog needing a new home in Dog of the Week. And Dan Kemp brings us the sport. Encouraging children to read can be a task in itself in the age of tablet computers and video games, but one library service has a unique solution. Throughout this week, Links Inspire has been partnering with Zoo Labs to take jungle creepy crawlies into North East Lincolnshire's libraries. Its aim to match the jungle theme of this year's National Book Start Week. Dave Nunn went to find out more.
Last time I checked, Waltham wasn't in the middle of the Amazon. But you could be mistaken due to a new initiative by Links Inspire to coincide with National Book Start Week.
What we've been doing to celebrate Book Start is in our 4 libraries we've got a company called Zoo Lab coming into the Little Readers sessions. Now, in Little Readers sessions we usually have preschool children come in and they hear a song and they get told a story and they do crafts. But the theme of this year's National Book Start Week is Jungle Adventures. So what we decided to do was bring the jungle to them.
The jungle did come to the heart of Waltham, with a wide-ranging selection of animals from cockroaches and frogs to snakes and lizards. Lawrence accepts it may be a bit bizarre, but it does encourage the children to read.
It is, but we like to try new things and do something a bit different. And we found it really helps. I mean, lots of children are interested in animals, and it works well with the theme of this year, very much so. They can look at the animals in the books and then see them for real.
The scheme is also supported by Zoo Lab, a company that uses animals for educational purposes, and their education officer agrees that using unique methods to encourage children to read is a viable option.
It is, yeah, because not only do they come to the library to read books, they'll come to obviously see the animals, but then as I'm here, they might want to go and then find out about the animals that I've shown you today. They might want to go and look at animal books or rainforest books or whatever topic I come and teach. They might want to go out then and read a book about the animals. So it kind of encourages them to come to the library and learn about more things that I've taught them as well, so they can expand on reading and expand on learning.
The sessions, which have been taking place this week in North East Lincolnshire's libraries, have certainly proved popular, filling the libraries. Lawrence says the children haven't only learned a lot, but have also enjoyed getting hands-on with animals people rarely see.
So the reaction is very, very good. Once they get over the sort of initial kind of hesitancy and fright, they enjoy looking at the animals. The brave ones will touch them, and the really brave ones will actually put them in their hands.
Now, still with me in the studio is romantic author Holly J Gill. Holly, we were talking before about how your writing career started, and we've talked about some of the books and want to talk to you. Your latest book is called Innocent. It's very intrigued. Don't make promises you cannot keep. Calvin Edwards has everything he could dream about. What's this series all about?
This one basically is about a young girl who has basically lost direction completely in life due to something that happened in her past.
Okay.
And basically now she's at a point in her life where she's had enough. She's got nowhere to go. And the one person in the world who she never really expects to see again, he all of a sudden turns up on her, well, by the point where she's about to take her life. And he sort of encourages and helps her and guides her back really to that stage in her life to get back on the straight and narrow again.
Okay, now when we mentioned earlier, and this one is a romantic novel,
absolutely
isn't
mainstream,
it? No sex in this one.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Pure romance. How easy was that then to write? Do you find that easier to write than the erotic?
I found it a lot more challenging.
Yeah.
It was difficult at points where, you know, you were tempted to just put that little bit in. But no, to be honest with you, because of the storyline and the structure, to be honest with you, there's no place for it.
Okay.
Because it's so intense and heart-wrenching, the story itself. You know, I have had reviews recently where they were drawn to tears through this particular book.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what I wanted to do.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I wanted something different.
Yeah.
You know,
got it there. And that Innocence one, that's the first book in your series, isn't it?
First book of 4.
Okay.
The next one's due out hopefully in September, which I'm working on currently now. Yeah.
And does it feature the same characters?
Absolutely,
okay,
yeah.
So it's following a time scale.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you'll have book 2 September-ish, then I think book 3 will come out in about January, then it's July, something like that.
Right.
I'm not precise on that, but...
Right.
Yeah.
And how long does it take you to write these books?
Oh, with Innocence, due to the fact that the characters just would not stop talking to me, it took me about 4 months to write the entire series.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's draft form.
Yeah.
And then basically I did a lot of re-edits, like you do.
Yeah.
And then I submitted it to Secret Cravens, and yeah.
Wow.
They went for it again.
And then, of course, we've got your first series here, the Desires series, which... I would love to read a chapter, a few lines of this out, but I'm not going to. You can buy this book. I mean, you've got a series of 5 here,
yeah.
And this is all set where?
This is all set down south in a sex club.
Okay, yeah. Following Dan the instructor.
Yeah, that's the one. You can tell where my imagination was going with this one, can't you?
And again, the whole series there is following this one character, isn't it?
It's following Dan and Stacey through their journey of their relationship and how one woman basically is trying to do her best to break them up.
Yeah.
But in a few times she's successful, but not always. No,
I have to. I mean, most people you talk to authors in the past, they do a lot of in-depth research to find out about the places, locations. I mean, for Innocence, what research have you had to do for that then?
Research, due to the fact that the main character is actually expecting, and the baby will be born prematurely. I had to do a lot of neonatal and, you know, complications in that sort of respect.
Yes.
There was a lot with, you know, regards with that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that was quite deep,
Yes,
very deep to say the least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other sorts of research was basically, you know, sort of came from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a few little experiences myself that I've experienced through my life as well. Yeah.
And the characters themselves, I mean, you mentioned just there about they talk to you. Is this where your books come from, that you just get characters springing into your head?
I'm an off-the-cuff writer. I don't have any notepads that will tell you anything about what's going to happen because I have no idea. It just strolls out on my mind, and that's it. You know, once I'm locked on that PC, I'm gone. You know, I'm in my happy little fantasy world away from the reality of my life, if you like. Anything, sometimes it's not a brilliant storyline to get deep in yourself into. But other than that,
Brilliant. And all these books, if people are interested, they can find them online, can't they?
Yeah, Amazon, basically, my publishers, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, anywhere like that, really.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Emma.
Thank you. Now, joining me in the studio to talk through what's been happening in the area is Dan Kemp. Dan, I think you're the star of that Desires series.
I can assure you I'm not. I only met Holly 2 weeks ago. She's a very quick writer if it was about me.
Hey, but fancy having a book series written all about you, Dan.
They'll
be asking questions where you live. Anyway, come on, let's get on with it. What's your story?
First story's based very close to where we're based in the studio in Grimsby. The Costa Coffee at the Grimsby Institute was wrongly awarded, or I'm not sure if awarded is the right word, but handed a 1 for scores on the doors for food hygiene.
Okay, and that's really bad, isn't it?
That is really bad.
How come they were awarded the wrong hygiene rating?
Well, we don't know why. It's obviously just a clerical error. We're not sure quite why it's happened, but they have been issued with an apology, and the Costa Coffee have now said they're going to be putting their number 5 for the scores on the doors rating right where everyone can see it, because apparently people have been asking questions.
Since it appeared in the news.
Yes, and I can understand because we go in there quite regularly, and I wouldn't say there are any hygiene issues in there.
No.
Not at all.
Not good though.
No, not at all.
A reputation of somebody, is it? Next one, Council Awards. It's North Lincolnshire Council, isn't it?
Yes, North Lincolnshire Council have awarded £54,000 to various community groups in the area.
Okay.
So St John's Parish Hall, they've received the biggest fund, and they've received nearly half, which was £25,000.
Okay. Does it say what they're going to use the money for?
Yeah, it's to go towards a new heating system, because apparently it's outdated and not working properly, and they need to do that to make sure everyone that's going to the community groups and the different events that they put on there stay warm, I suppose, especially in winter. And there are...
I was going to say, well, who else has managed to secure some funding? Yeah, it's good when groups get money.
Yeah, there's a lot of smaller funding amounts that are being handed out. Someone called Amy Fincham has received £1,000 to attend the National Youth Theatre Epic stage course.
Okay.
Fair enough. And Marcus Robinson's received £500 to take part in the British Water Ski and Wakeboard Talent Development Programme. And I suppose anyone else, if any of these people are listening, quite to get in touch.
Exactly, you want to do a story on those, don't you, as well? Is there anything else on there that's quite significant at all?
I would say they're all significant amounts of money, really. Briggs Singers, they've been awarded just over £1,500 for their On the Move scheme.
Right.
And that'll go towards buying music, coach hire, and attending a choir festival in Leicester. And again, if they're listening anywhere, then I'm sure we can do something.
Get you guys on to looking into those one. Next one, do with fly tipping, and surprisingly, this is not in North East Lincolnshire, where the £30 green waste bin charge has been put onto households. This is on the North Bank.
I suppose this is lack of recycling, which is a bigger problem. I think I'd prefer to pay the £30.
Yeah.
It's the East Riding Yorkshire Council hunting for fly tippers caught in the Acton Lockington on the road between Lockington, if you don't know, is halfway between Beverley and Driffield, roughly.
Right.
And someone at 4 p.m. last Wednesday was spotted and snapped by a passerby for fly tipping. I think it was rubble. So I would have thought maybe a gardener or someone that was disposing of the waste.
Right.
And maybe decided they didn't want to take it to the tip.
Tipped it by the side of the road?
Yes. Yeah. And the man has been spotted. The picture was taken, and the council couldn't quite decipher what the registration plate was. But they're apparently looking for a 5'9" tall man, aged 35 to 40, stocky build, with bald or short blonde hair. So that's quite a lot of people I know that look like that. So
I was going to say Martin Samuels here looks like that.
Well, I'm going to be asking questions after we finish this.
But no, we shouldn't laugh about it because it's not funny.
No, not at all.
That is a serious issue.
Yes, it is. And as you said, with North East Lincolnshire,
yeah,
they've got their own
people
problems.
Are worried more about people fly tipping, aren't they?
I would say just use the tip, it's free in Hessel.
We're going to go over to Dan Kemp shortly for the sport.
Scunthorpe United have signed an England C international centre-half. Hendon centre-back Charlie Good has spent a 2-year deal at Glanford Park with the option of a third. The 19-year-old joins on a free transfer from the Ryman League Premier Division club after they beat off competition from other Football League sides. Good is the 5th signing of the summer, joining Stephen Dawson, Jack King, Scott Wiseman and Isaac Asenso. Meanwhile, the Iron have been unseeded for the Capital One Cup first round draw. This means that the competition gets up and running in August. They'll face off against a seeded side, of which Hull City are one. And we'll find out who each side draw when it takes place at 10 a.m. next Tuesday. The Hull Daily Mail are reporting the Rumble on the Humber clash between local boxers Luke Campbell and Tommy Coyle will be a WBC World Title Eliminator. That means that either one of the fighters are just 3 wins away from becoming the area's first ever world champion. Jorge Linares is the current incumbent of the lightweight belt, and the clash on August the 1st at the KC Lightstream Stadium will now be the first step towards a potential world title fight. There'll be a press conference on Thursday night for the Rumble on the Humber at Hull City Hall. And finally, just time to tell you that a local bus drivers will go head-to-head in a football tournament this weekend. The charity event will take place at Ruston Sports and Social Club in Lincoln this Sunday. That's all for now. Don't forget to get in contact with any stories you have for us. You can call 01472 315553, email sport@estuary.tv or search for us on Facebook or Twitter at Estuary TV. And that's all for the sport.
And now it's time for Dog of the Week. Can you give this canine its forever home?
Dog number 34 is a Staffy cross called Lola, also chipped, so we do know a bit about her age. She is just born last year. She seems pretty good, pleasant, walks pretty good on a harness, behaves herself in the kennel, so she's looking for a good home.
Right, that's all we've got time for, thanks to my guest Holly J Gill. If you have a news story for us, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages, details are on the screen, or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 315 553. Goodbye.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Friday, cool and cloudy at first, but soon getting brighter to become a dry day with some warm, sunny spells and heavy overnight rain, with highs of 18 degrees. Saturday will be cloudy, breezy and cool, with some heavy rain through the day.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.